Actions or statements by the Prime Minister of the Zionist regime, as well as by certain radical U.S. officials regarding Iran's internal affairs, are nothing but incitement to violence, terrorism, and killing in the language of international norms. Therefore, we thank God that such individuals hold no credibility here, and that neither our people, the people of the region, nor the international community will be misled by this hypocritical behavior.
Iran has unveiled a series of striking and overtly threatening banners and murals in central Tehran, sharply escalating its messaging toward the United States and Israel amid rising domestic unrest and renewed regional tensions. The displays, erected in prominent public spaces including Palestine Square, feature stark imagery of coffins draped in American and Israeli flags alongside multilingual warnings directed at Washington and Tel Aviv. One of the most prominent banners, installed near the site of the former Israeli embassy, bears the message, "Watch out for your soldiers," written in English, Hebrew, and Arabic. The artwork depicts flag-covered coffins and includes portraits of Iranian military commanders and nuclear scientists killed in Israeli strikes. A separate section features Ali Larijani, Secretary of Iran's Supreme National Security Council, alongside a warning address to Americans that U.S. military personnel could be placed at risk if Washington escalates its actions against Iran. Another installation includes a digital countdown clock showing thousands of days remaining until the destruction of Israel, accompanied by a quote attributed to Iran's supreme leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, declaring that the Zionist regime will not see the next 25 years. Images of the banners were circulated widely by Iranian state media and independent journalists in Tehran. The displays come as protests spread across parts of Iran, driven largely by economic hardship. Human rights activists say at least 15 people have been killed in clashes linked to the demonstrations so far. While the unrest has drawn comparisons to the nationwide protests sparked by the 2022 death of Mahsa Amini in police custody, analysts note the current movement has not yet reached the same scale or intensity. The banner campaign followed a sharp exchange of rhetoric between U.S. President Donald Trump and Iranian officials. Writing on his Truth Social platform, Trump warned Tehran against violently suppressing protesters, stating that the United States was locked and loaded and prepared to respond if civilians were harmed. He did not provide further details. Larijani responded on X, a platform blocked inside Iran, accusing the U.S. and Israel of fomenting unrest. "The American people should know that Trump began this adventurism," Larijani wrote, adding that U.S. intervention would lead to regional chaos and threaten American interests. Iranian officials have repeatedly blamed foreign powers for domestic protests, though they have not presented evidence. In parallel, Iran has rolled out additional banners across Tehran referencing recent military exchanges with Israel and the U.S. Some displays feature maps and images of targets hit during last month's 12-day conflict, including Israel's Nevatim airbase, the Haifa refinery, and Qatar's Al Udeid airbase, which hosts U.S. forces. Above the images, the phrase "it will happen again" is prominently displayed, according to Iranian state outlets. These warnings follow remarks by Trump indicating he would back Israeli strikes if Iran advances its missile or nuclear programs. Iran's Revolutionary Guard Corps spokesman, Brigadier General Mohammad Ali Naini, responded by cautioning Israel against miscalculation, claiming Iran's missile capabilities are far stronger than publicly acknowledged. The June conflict erupted after stalled nuclear negotiations between Washington and Tehran. Iran launched airstrikes after a U.S.-imposed deadline for a deal expired, followed by American strikes on nuclear facilities in Natanz, Isfahan, and Fordow, according to U.S. officials. Iran retaliated by firing missiles at Al Udeid base, which U.S. officials said were largely intercepted, though satellite imagery later suggested damage to a U.S. radar installation. Iran continues to deny seeking nuclear weapons, insisting its nuclear activities are peaceful. The United States, however, maintains that Iran must halt uranium enrichment, curb missile development, and end support for regional armed groups, demands Tehran has repeatedly rejected.
There's been protesters killed in Iran. You said we were locked and loaded, ready to go. What is the line there for when the U.S. is going to get involved in those protests?
We'll take a look. We're watching it very closely. If they start killing people like they have in the past, I think they're going to get hit very hard by the United States.
as President Donald Trump issues a stark warning to Tehran, threatening harsh U.S. action if Iranian authorities continue killing protesters. New intelligence suggests Iran's supreme leader may already be preparing an escape. According to an intelligence report shared with The Times, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei has a contingency plan to flee Iran if unrest overwhelms his grip on power. The 86-year-old leader is said to be ready to leave Tehran with a tightly controlled inner circle of up to 20 aides and family members, including his son and designated heir, Mojtaba Khamenei, if security forces begin to desert, defect, or refuse orders. Intelligence sources say the destination would be Moscow. Former Israeli intelligence officer Benny Sabti told The Times there is effectively no other place for Khamenei to go, citing his admiration for Russian President Vladimir Putin and the deep political ties between Tehran and Moscow. The escape plan is reportedly modeled on the flight of Syria's former leader Bashar al-Assad, who fled Damascus to Russia in December 2024 as opposition forces closed in on the capital. Sources say the plan includes pre-arranged exit routes, the movement of assets abroad, and access to cash and overseas properties to ensure a rapid departure if the regime begins to fracture. Khamenei is believed to control a vast financial empire through opaque semi-state foundations, including Setad, an organization Reuters estimated in 2013 to be worth as much as $95 billion. Many of his closest allies already have family members living overseas, including in the United States, Canada, and Dubai. The revelations come as protests spread across Iran for a second week, driven by economic collapse, soaring inflation, and rising public anger. Demonstrations have erupted in multiple cities, including the holy city of Qom, with protesters accusing security forces of using live fire, tear gas, and water cannons to suppress dissent. Those forces, the Revolutionary Guard, Basij militia, police, and the army all report directly to Khamenei, who remains the ultimate authority in the Islamic Republic. But Western intelligence assessments suggest the supreme leader is increasingly fragile. The same profile describes Khamenei as mentally and physically weakened since last year's 12-day war with Israel, a conflict that decimated key Iranian-aligned forces across the region. During that war, Khamenei reportedly spent days in an underground bunker, avoiding the fate of senior Revolutionary Guard commanders killed in Israel's strikes, reinforcing what analysts describe as a deep obsession with survival. He has rarely appeared in public since, and notably has remained silent during the latest wave of protests. Despite his rigid ideology, intelligence officials describe Khamenei as pragmatic, willing to make tactical retreats to preserve the regime above all else. Born in 1939 in Mashhad, Khamenei rose from revolutionary activist to president and ultimately to supreme leader, despite lacking the traditional clerical credentials required for the role. A failed assassination attempt in 1981 left him permanently injured, an event analysts say cemented his belief in a divine mission to rule. That mission expanded beyond Iran's borders, fueling decades of investment in armed allies across the Middle East, from Hezbollah and Hamas to militias in Iraq, Syria, and Yemen. But the collapse of those fronts and the economic toll at home has turned public anger inward. One chant now echoing across Iranian streets captures the shift. No to Gaza, no to Lebanon. I give my life for Iran only. As Washington sharpens its warnings and unrest continues to build, The question facing Iran's supreme leader may no longer be whether he can hold on to power, but whether he will be forced to run. We talk to the protesters. The officials should talk to the protesters, but talking to rioters is useless. Rioters need to be pushed back. The bazaar activists and merchants are among the most loyal segments of the country to the Islamic system and the Islamic Revolution. We know the bazaar well. One cannot confront the Islamic Republic and the Islamic system under the name of the bazaar and bazaar merchants. These gatherings were mainly by the merchants, but their objection was correct. I heard it on television and at work, saw it in the calculations. When a merchant takes a look at the country's financial situation, the devaluation of the country's currency, the instability of the national currency and foreign currency, which causes the business environment to be unstable, says, "I can't do business anymore," he is right. The rise in the price of foreign currency, the uncontrolled increase in foreign currency prices, and the instability, going up and down, so that merchants don't know what to do, this is not natural. It's the enemy's doing. Of course, it must be stopped with various measures. They are trying, both the president and other heads of branches and some other officials are trying to fix this. Therefore, the protests of merchants were about this matter, and this is a correct matter. With the intentions to destroy, to destabilize the country, standing behind devout, healthy and revolutionary merchants, exploiting their protests, creating unrest, this is absolutely unacceptable. We will not yield to the enemy. Relying and trusting in God Almighty and confident in the support of the people, God willing, with divine grace, we will bring the enemy to its knees. That American, officials, talks nonsense about the Iranian nation, saying some bad things, making some promises, false and deceptive promises to support protests. Fortunately, today, the Iranian nation has recognized the U.S. There was a time when they didn't recognize it, but today, the U.S. has been disgraced in the world. Everyone knows this. It's not just specific to Iran. The people have recognized the enemy, and this is a great success. We insisted on explaining it for the people. The people saw it for themselves during the 12-day war.